Before the wooden horse, before Achilles' legendary heel, before Troy burns, there is a harder question. Why is the Iliad a poem of wrath, not a chronicle of the whole Trojan War? Tradition names the poet Homer. Modern scholarship is more cautious. The Iliad took shape in Homeric Greek within a long oral performance culture, most often dated to the 8th or 7th century before the Common Era. Singers used repeated formulas, stock phrases, and type scenes that made a vast poem memorizable and improvable in performance. At roughly 15,000 lines in 24 books, it is commonly treated as the earlier of the two great Homeric epics. We should hear Homer less as a modern novelist at a desk and more as the name of a tradition that crystallized into text.
Here is our map. Background, beginning near 121. The poem, beginning near 225. Major characters, near 621. Use those markers to find your place.
Background, then. The Iliad is war at Troy, but not the whole war. Its first word is Manus, wrath. The poem opens in the 9th year of the siege and follows a few decisive weeks in which Achilles' anger reshapes the battlefield. The Achaeans, also called Danaans or Hellenes, fight under Agamemnon's loose leadership to reclaim Helen, taken from Menelaus by Paris of Troy. Opposite them stands Hector, Troy's chief defender, with Priam's city behind its walls. The gods take sides. Athena and Hera favor the Greeks. Apollo and Aphrodite favor Troy. Zeus holds the balance, while knowing Troy's eventual fate. What Homer gives us is not the horse, not the fall of the city, and not Achilles' death, but the moral physics of honor, grief, and rage.
The poem itself falls into 4 movements. First, quarrel and withdrawal, roughly books 1 through 8. Apollo sends a plague because Agamemnon has refused to return Chrysis, a priest's daughter taken as a prize. Forced to yield her, Agamemnon seizes Briseis from Achilles as compensation. Achilles nearly draws his sword. Athena restrains him. He withdraws from battle and asks his mother Thetis to persuade Zeus to favor the Trojans, so the Achaeans will feel his absence. On the plain, the war continues without him. Paris and Menelaus duel, the truce breaks, Diomedes has a brilliant Aristeia, Hector visits Andromache within Troy, Ajax meets Hector in single combat, and the Achaeans build a wall around their ships. Zeus begins to tip the scales toward Troy.
Second movement, Embassy and Crisis, roughly books 9 through 15. With the Achaeans pressed back, Agamemnon sends an embassy, Odysseus, Ajax, and Phoenix, offering rich gifts if Achilles will return. Achilles refuses. He will not fight until fire reaches the ships, and he speaks of 2 fates, a short life with everlasting glory, or a long life without it. Night raids and daytime slaughter follow. Hector drives toward the ships. The wall is breached. Hera distracts Zeus for a moment, and the Greeks rally. Then Zeus restores the Trojan advance. The fleet is in mortal danger. Achilles still will not go, but the crisis is about to force a substitute.
Third movement, Patroclus and Achilles return, roughly books 16 through 21. Patroclus, Achilles' closest companion, begs to wear Achilles' armor and lead the Myrmidons. Achilles agrees, but only to drive the Trojans from the ships, not to storm Troy. Patroclus fights brilliantly, then presses too far. Apollo strips him of armor. Hector kills him. A ferocious fight claims the body. Hector keeps the armor. Achilles' grief becomes a new wrath. Thetis brings divine armor forged by Hephaestus, including the famous shield.
Achilles reconciles with Agamemnon, rejoins the war, and cuts through the Trojans in a rampage so extreme that even the river Scamander rises against him. The gods themselves enter open conflict. The path now leads to Hector.
Fourth movement. Hector, Funeral Games, and Ransom. Books 22 through 24. Hector waits outside Troy, then flees. Achilles chases him 3 times around the walls. Athena tricks Hector into standing. Achilles kills him and drags the body behind his chariot. The Achaeans hold funeral games for Patroclus. For days, Achilles abuses Hector's corpse. Then Zeus sends Priam, guided by Hermes, into the Achaean camp. The old king clasps Achilles' knees and begs for his son's body, asking Achilles to remember his own aging father. Achilles is moved. He returns Hector, and Troy buries its defender under a temporary truce. The Iliad ends not in victory, but in shared grief, and the war we know will continue beyond the poem.
Major characters, in brief. Among the Greeks, Achilles, greatest warrior, son of Peleus and Thetis, whose wrath organizes the poem. Agamemnon, commander of the host, powerful but often inept in leading peers. Ajax, steadied honor after Achilles. Odysseus, the shrewdest counselor. Patroclus, Achilles' closest companion, whose death turns the plot. Menelaus, Helen's husband. Phoenix, Achilles' old tutor. Briseis, the captive prize at the quarrel's center. Among the Trojans, Hector, Troy's foundation in combat and counsel, loving husband of Andromache. Paris, also called Alexandros, lover more than warrior, patronized by Aphrodite. Priam and Hecuba, aged king and queen. Helen, beautiful and self-accusing. Deiphobus, brother impersonated at Hector's death. Among the gods, Zeus balances fate. Athena and Hera aid the Greeks. Apollo and Aphrodite aid Troy. Poseidon favors the Achaeans. Hephaestus forges for Thetis. Thetis herself mediates for her mortal son. Around them stand Achaeans, Danans, Helens, many names for one Greek host, in a world where honor and grief decide who lives long enough to be remembered.
So the Iliad endures, an oral epic of wrath and pity, structured for memory, ending not with conquest, but with a father's ransom and a temporary peace. Return to background, the poem, or major characters whenever you need the map.